Good morning and welcome to 7 at 7 from the Economic Times podcasts, a daily financial news capsule to get you clued in for the day. It's Friday, the 6th of September, and I am your host, Bhaskar Datta. Let's kick off today with the global flavor of the season, interest rates and how they're about to go down from Washington to Frankfurt. Data released after Indian market hours on Thursday showed that initial claims for state unemployment benefits in the US fell by 5,000 to 227,000 for the week ended August 31st, the lowest level since July. This was lower than a Reuters poll of 230,000 claims for the week. For those who have been concerned about whether the US is heading towards a recession, remember how stock markets cracked earlier this week? The data dispels some of those fears and keeps the Federal Reserve on track to cut rates by 25 basis points this month, instead of a larger 50 basis point reduction that would have been in response to economic distress. Meanwhile, a Reuters poll showed that the European Central Bank is likely to cut its deposit rate by 25 basis points on September 12, and once more in December, as central banks around the world finally get inflation down enough to cut borrowing costs. Let's turn to the latest bout of competition unfolding between the world's two largest economies. China isn't too happy with Wall Street firms expanding on its turf and has decided to combine two of its largest state-backed brokerages to create a financial sector behemoth with assets of 1.6 trillion yuan, Bloomberg reported. The new entity will be formed from the merger of Guotai Yunnan Securities Co. and Haitong Securities Co. and is being positioned as a world-class investment bank to take on the likes of US lenders Citibank, JP Morgan and Bank of America. Turning to the home turf, it seems Indians can't get enough of the new entrants on Dalal Street. September is going to be the busiest IPO month in 14 years, with 15 companies gearing up to enter the stock market. So far, bazaar-style retail and Gala Precision Engineering have successfully raised funds through IPOs, while companies such as Bajaj Housing, Shri Tirupati Balaji, Tollins Tires, Cross and PN Gadgil Jewelers have announced their plans to follow suit. According to bankers, companies like Niva Bupa Health Insurance, Northern Arc, Western Carriers, Afcons Infra, Arcade Developers, Diffusion Engineers, Garuda Constructions and Manba Finance are also expected to launch their IPOs this month. This surge could surpass the record set in September 2010, when 15 firms went public. There's even more on the IPO front. Hero MotoCorp-backed Ather Energy has set an ambitious valuation target of $2 to $2.5 billion, which is roughly about 16,800 to 19,000 crore rupees, as the electric scooter maker prepares to file its draft prospectus next week. For an initial public offering, people familiar with the matter said to ET, the Bengaluru headquartered startup is looking to raise rupees 3,500 to 4,000 crore through the IPO. The Adani Group is in talks with more than 10 global banks to raise at least $1.5 billion through dollar bond sales, Bloomberg News reported on Thursday. The bonds would be issued mainly under Adani Green Energy and Adani Energy Solutions, the group's renewable energy and power transmission units, and through special purpose vehicles. The ports to power conglomerate will complete the sales in multiple parts by the end of February next year, and the proceeds will be used to refinance debt, with talks on with banks in Japan, Europe and the Middle East. If you were concerned about the moderation in India's GDP growth to 6.7 in the first quarter of the current financial year, from 7.8% a quarter ago, here's something from RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das to cheer you up. Das said on Thursday that India's growth prospects remain intact and that the decline in growth in April-June was likely because of a temporary reduction in government spending that typically happens during the Lok Sabha elections. The RBI governor listed out various indicators showing that India continues to be the fastest growing major economy, while pointing to recent growth forecast updates by global agencies like the World Bank. We end with the latest on the storm surrounding SEBI chief Madhabi Puri Buch. ET has learned that the Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee is set to look into allegations against her. The matter was added to the PAC's agenda after several members demanded an inquiry into the functioning of SEBI and the allegations against Buch. The PAC is headed by Congress leader K.C. Venugopal and has members from both the ruling NDA and the opposition India bloc. Buch has been accused of conflict of interest over SEBI's investigation into the Hindenburg Research allegations against the Adani Group. The opposition Congress party has questioned payments made to Buch made by ICICI Bank, her former employer. Buch has denied the allegations, while ICICI Bank has said that it has not made any salary payments to her after her retirement. That's all for today. Thank you very much for tuning into 7 at 7 from the Economic Times podcasts.